What if the most powerful soil building trick wasn't invented by modern science but by ancient farmers over 2,000 years ago? Deep in the Amazon basin, long before industrial fertilizers, before modern composting systems, entire communities thrived on land that should have been nearly impossible to farm. The Amazon's natural soils are notoriously poor, acidic, depleted, and prone to washing away nutrients in heavy rains. Yet, archaeologists discovered vast patches of land known as terra preta, or dark earth, so fertile that they remain productive to this day, centuries after they were first created. This wasn't an accident. It was the result of deliberate soil-building practices, a method so effective that modern scientists and gardeners are still working to understand it. Today, we'll dive deep into this ancient Amazonian soil trick, uncover how it works, and most importantly, learn how we can apply its principles in our own gardens for richer, more resilient soil. To appreciate how revolutionary this ancient method was, we first need to understand the challenge. The Amazon rainforest looks lush and abundant, but the soils beneath it are surprisingly poor. Most of the nutrients are locked in the plants themselves, not in the ground. When vegetation dies, it decomposes rapidly, and the heavy rains leach minerals away before plants can use them. This leaves the soil acidic, sandy, and low in organic matter. Farming on such land without intervention quickly depletes it. Slash-and-burn agriculture created short bursts of fertility, but fields were abandoned within a few years. Yet ancient Amazonian societies managed to sustain large populations without exhausting their soils. Their solution? A soil-building practice that essentially rewired the natural fertility cycle. Archaeologists discovered that scattered throughout the Amazon are patches of deep, black, fertile earth, unlike anything naturally occurring in the region. These terra preta soils are rich in organic matter, teeming with microbes, and contain high levels of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and calcium. Even more surprising, these soils have not degraded over the centuries. They remain productive even after continuous cultivation, something unheard of in the tropics. The secret ingredient was not a chemical fertilizer, nor a mysterious exotic plant. It was biochar, a form of charcoal that ancient farmers incorporated into their soil, along with composted food scraps, animal bones, and organic waste. By combining these materials, they created a living soil ecosystem that locked in nutrients, encouraged microbial life, and resisted leaching. Charcoal, when made at low temperatures and added to soil, becomes biochar. Unlike ash, which washes away quickly, biochar has a porous structure that acts like a sponge. It traps water, holds nutrients, and provides endless tiny surfaces where microbes can colonize. Instead of nutrients being lost with the rain, biochar stores them right in the root zone, where plants can access them for years. But biochar on its own is inert. The ancient Amazonians understood this, which is why they charged it with life. They mixed biochar with food waste, animal manure, and other organic matter. This transformed the biochar from a simple carbon sponge into a thriving microbial habitat. Once in the soil, it didn't just feed plants for a season. It created a long-term fertility engine that kept soil alive for centuries. The beauty of this discovery is that it's not locked in history. Gardeners today can adapt the same principles on any scale, whether it's a backyard bed or a larger growing area. The process begins with creating or sourcing biochar. You can make biochar by burning wood, crop residues, or pruning waste in a low-oxygen environment, like a covered pit or maybe even a simple barrel kiln. The key is to produce charcoal that hasn't turned completely to ash. Once you have biochar, the next step is charging it with nutrients and microbes. Adding raw charcoal directly to soil won't give you the results you're looking for. In fact, it can actually pull nutrients away from your plants for a while. Instead, mix biochar into compost, soak it in compost tea, or blend it with animal manures. This pre-charging step makes sure that the porous structure is filled with fertility before it touches your garden soil. When incorporated into soil alongside organic matter, the results are, honestly, pretty remarkable. Garden beds stay more fertile, crops grow stronger, and soil holds onto moisture even in hot conditions. The microbial life thrives in the protected spaces within biochar, creating resilience against disease and improving nutrient cycling. What's remarkable is not just the technique itself, but honestly, the mindset behind it. Ancient Amazonian farmers weren't trying to dominate their environment with quick fixes. Instead, they were working with nature's cycles, using what was available: charcoal from controlled burns, food scraps, broken pottery, animal bones, and turning them into soil wealth. Instead of short-term fertility that faded after a season, they created soils that improved over time. This lesson is crucial for modern gardeners. Too often we look for instant results from synthetic fertilizers, only to watch soil health decline year after year. By investing in soil-building practices like biochar and composting, we aren't just feeding plants, we're creating living ecosystems that continue to give back. While the core principle is simple, there are ways to refine this ancient method for modern use. For gardeners with heavy clay, biochar helps open up the soil, improving aeration and drainage, and in sandy soils, it acts as a reservoir, holding onto nutrients that would otherwise leach away. Mixing biochar with worm castings really supercharges the process, as worms further distribute microbes and organic matter through the carbon matrix. Another key insight is that biochar doesn't need to be applied in massive amounts all at once. Even small, steady additions build up over time, just as they did in the ancient Amazon. By incorporating a little each season, you can transform tired soil into rich, resilient ground. And unlike most soil amendments, biochar doesn't break down. Once it's in your soil, it remains for centuries, continually contributing to fertility. 2,000 years ago, farmers in the Amazon found a way to turn some of the world's poorest soils into some of the richest. Today, their wisdom offers us a roadmap for sustainable gardening and resilient food production. With climate shifting and soils under pressure, there is honestly no better time to rediscover and adapt this ancient trick. By learning from Terra Preta, we realize that soil health is not built overnight. It's built layer by layer, season by season, with the understanding that what we add to the ground today will nourish generations tomorrow. That mindset of working with living systems rather than against them is as revolutionary now as it was then. The forgotten soil trick of the Amazon is no longer forgotten. Biochar, combined with organic matter, remains one of the most powerful ways to create soil that lasts. It's more than a technique. It's a philosophy of stewardship, turning waste into fertility and time into abundance. If you're serious about transforming your soil, start experimenting with biochar in your garden. Charge it with compost, work it into your beds, and watch as your soil begins to hold life in ways you've never seen before. For more deep dives into proven soil building methods from both ancient wisdom and modern science, make sure to subscribe to HydroHaven and share this guide with fellow gardeners. Together we can keep these timeless practices alive, ensuring that the ground beneath our feet remains fertile, resilient, and full of promise.